Hi! Welcome to another installment of Puppets at Home with Zach. That's me, Mr. Zach. And this is going to be a workshop on paper puppets. We're going to be making puppet characters from the classic fairy tale story, Little Red Riding Hood. So I have the four main characters from that story. Here you can see there's Little Red Riding Hood, of course. There's Little Red Riding Hood's grandma, the big bad wolf, and the hunter or the woodsman. Okay? I'm going to show you how to make one of those puppets here today, just using a few simple materials. So we're going to need a piece of paper, a pen or pencil, and a piece of some heavier kind of paper, either like cardboard or cardstock, a type of stick, either it could be wire, a real stick from the woods. I have a dowel, a straw, a pencil, any of these will work. And then you're going to need a pair of scissors and something to draw with. And lastly, something to glue or tape with. So any type of tape or a glue stick will work. So we're going to start by taking our piece of paper, and you'll probably want to use paper like this size, like printer paper. But I'm going to use a larger piece of paper just so you can see a little bit better. And I'm going to fold it in half this way, and then I'm going to fold it in half the other way, okay? So that when I open this up, I have four equal rectangles here. That's going to be for each of my puppets to be drawn in each one, okay? So I'm going to use my scissors and cut out each of these squares, following the line that I made on that fold. Okay. And I'm going to set these three aside. And I'm going to take my first sheet, put it on my clipboard here, and I think I'm going to do Little Red Riding Hood first, since she's the main character. And I'm going to use my pen, and I'm going to start drawing, but we want to make sure that we leave some room at the top and the bottom, and actually all around the borders if you can, but especially the top and bottom we want to make sure. So I'm going to make like a frame, a rectangle around this, so I know that when I draw my character, I don't want her to cross that area, okay? So I'm going to draw her in here. And you can think about, how you want to make your Little Red Riding Hood different or inspired by maybe different characters. Maybe you have a favorite character in another book and you want your Little Red Riding Hood to resemble them, but to have the same red cloak that Little Red Riding Hood has. Or you could go for a very traditional one. You could look in a picture book or online to see different drawings of how Little Red Riding Hood is shown. and choose from those a character that you like. So I have my outline. There's Little Red Riding Hood with her basket, and I'm going to color her in. I'm going to start using my crayons to color the cloak, and then maybe I'm going to blend some colors for her dress here. So I'm going to use orange and yellow. And maybe she's got purple socks. Okay, I'm going to color in her skin. Okay, so I have her all colored in, and you can use whatever drawing materials you want, markers, maybe colored pencils, pastels, and when you feel like you're all ready with that, we're going to take some cardstock, or you could use cardboard or any other hard paper material. And I'm going to cut out a frame for this picture, and that's just going to make it a lot sturdier, so that when we're holding this, it's not going to flop around as much. Because you can see this paper is pretty floppy, but with the frame, it gives it more structure, makes it stronger. And I'm not doing the most careful job cutting, but I'm sure you guys can come up with a better frame. Okay, so I'm going to add one longer strip here. So you can see I have the full frame around Little Red. And I'm going to use a glue stick, or you can use tape. And I'm going to glue this frame down so that everything is nice and stuck together. Alright, I'm going to clip off these ends to clean up this frame. Put the cap back on my glue stick. And you can see now it's not quite as floppy, right? It's going to stay firm so that when we want to move our puppets around, it'll be easier to see them. Okay. So, last step here is to put a stick on the end. So I'm going to take this stick here and I'm going to glue it to the back. Or tape it to the back, but you can use glue too. I have a hot glue gun here, so if you have a hot glue gun, after you add tape, you might want to add a little bit of hot glue too. That can't hurt to make it a little bit sturdier. So there we have my puppet on a stick. You can see how I taped it to the back here. Maybe just add one more piece so make sure it's not going anywhere. And there's Little Red Riding Hood. So you can take your other pieces of paper and do the other characters, the woodsman, the grandma, and the wolf. And just like with Little Red Riding Hood, we add the frame, and we add tape and a stick. And when you're all done making your 4 puppets, then we're going to just make sure we clean up our area, look around, make sure everything is going back to where it belongs. Any scraps like this can be thrown away or recycled. And when it looks like everything is back to the way it was before you started your activity, checking under the table and everywhere, then we can think about what we want to do with our puppets and how we want to act them out. So I have a little stage here, just a simple stage. I haven't made any background or something. You can think of this as like a mini theater. And your characters can come on stage during their scenes. So when Little Red Riding Hood is walking through the woods to Grandma's house, she might come walking through, and then maybe the wolf is following behind her. So you can build a small set like this, so we might talk about that in another video, or don't necessarily need one of these. You can just act this out on the tabletop like this, and get a copy of the story online or in a book, and you could narrate it as you go, or you could make your own idea for a variation, a different Little Red Riding Hood story. Maybe Grandma isn't eaten by a wolf. Maybe Grandma actually eats the wolf. Who knows? Anything can happen. So you have important characters, and you can use them in many different ways. One additional thing you could do if you want is I drew Little Red Riding Hood on both sides, so that I could have her walk like this, and then maybe she can turn around and walk back this way. Looking this way, looking that way. This is my system. And I can kind of see through this, the outline that I made already. So I wanted to trace this from Sharpie and do this side to side. But that's just an option. So you'll have options for